It is July 1936, and the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics is working hard at creating a workers' paradise on Earth. Despite the capitalistic, imperialistic, and colonialist regimes in the world trying to suppress and subdue the workers of the world, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, the USSR, is doing its best to not only find its place among the world, but to rise above them as they naturally will. The will and the work of the people will rise us above all else. And it was the will of the masses, of the great masses of the workforce that will unite and put their hand on the plow and create our great nation. Welcome all to Global War 1936. We are playing as the Russians in this brand new YouTube war series called Operation Varsity. It's been one that's been somewhat on my radar for a while. I haven't had the pleasure of playing with 5-star General before, but so far from my communications with him, he seems like a very upstanding and very decent chap from what little I know about him. But it should prove to be quite an enjoyable experience. But I think a more curious thing is playing against the veteran. He is an interesting personality, and I have seen him much in the community. He is definitely not a small voice amongst the community, and he's an interesting fellow. And he employs some pretty unique strategies, and that's always piqued my interest. Some of the stuff that he done, I've always kind of shook my head at and thought, is that even a possibility? If I was in position against him, would I be able to be victorious or not? So it was a challenge of sorts. Will this work out? Will his strategies work out? He's kind of a unique individual and unique strategist. Will I be able to battle my wits against this wild card of a fellow known as the veteran? So it should prove to be quite the interesting game. I'm looking forward to it quite a bit. It's something that has been on my radar to do something with this fellow for a while. So I think altogether we'll have a fun game in front of us between 5-star General, myself, and the veteran. I think we should offer you guys quite the enjoyable experience. So I'm playing as the Russians. I had to take somewhat of a small role. I'm starting a new job, and unfortunately I still have to play on the digital format. I do have my map. But we rent out 2 rooms in our house right now, and there's a new renter adjacent to the room I normally record in. And because the nature of how time-consuming these YouTube wars are, I need to be respectful of that space and not make too many noises. And sometimes that might mean I'm doing some late nights recording videos, and I don't want to do it, especially with his work schedule the way it is. It's just a matter of being polite, right? So that's the scoop behind it, why I have to be digital. In the future, I hope to play at least a couple games on my new table, but that might be down the track. As is my normal, I would like to share with you guys a timestamp about the time. It's 10:46 p.m. Hopefully I remember to share another timestamp towards the end of the video as well. This is going to be a fairly simple, quick turn. As the Russians, we have 4 IPA to spend. We're going to lend these 1 infantry to Spain. That is $3. We're going to drop us down to 1. We also, as a CCP, are going to buy 1 influence roll, rolling a dice at 1, dropping us down to 1 right there. We also get a recruitment roll for the Republican Spain. Let's go down to combat moves. Now, I do believe I could do a recruitment roll at any point as a CCP. It doesn't have to be at the start. It doesn't have to be at the end. I believe I can do them now. I'm not sure which is more advantageous, but I'm going to do it now, just because why not? So I'm going to roll for Suyan. Actually, you know what? Let's start with west to east. I think that would be the best. Let's start with our combat moves here, and I hope everybody will be accepting of that fact. All right. So, first of all, we see that the nationalist Spain have done what I would call the strategy. I'm trying to coin the phrase, the Andalusian undercut, which is the nationalists come swinging down south here in an effort to potentially cut off and disperse some of the Republican forces, right? So that's the goal there. So we'll see if they will be successful in that. This is the exact strategy I employed in my previous game when I played as the Germans, and I had decent success at it, so we'll have to see how that goes out. So our combat move here is we're going to move 1 infantry down there. We're going to send our fighter as well as our medium bomber south to hit Eastern Andalusia as well. Hopefully we will win this fight, and that is our only combat move. So we are rolling 3 dice. We're rolling 1 at 6, 1 at 7, and then we are rolling 1 at 1. So those are the 3 dice. The opponents have 1 dice at 4. Let's see what the results are. All right. Now I see we have one hit, and that's all we need. And these guys, I don't know if I rolled that yet. Did I roll that one? No, I believe not, because it shows up here as 5. So let's roll that one. It's late in the day, and I'm actually struggling with a bit of a flu. So let's see what they have. A 7. So they missed out on that one. We've succeeded with 1 hit, and that territory exchanges hands once again. So here we have it. We're going to take that one off. We're going to grab this, place it here. Boom. And we're going to remove his nationalist force. Now, I'm going to do something similar to what I did before. I like keeping track of these things, so I'm going to put this down there. So far, we are neck to neck in losses suffered. Now, at the end of our turn, we are going to move some of our units around. We're going to drop off these 2 units here in Catalonia. This infantry stays here. These 2 infantry stay here. Now, that leaves us a little bit more exposed than I would like in Madrid. Perhaps, no, I think we'll leave it at that. I think that would be the best course of action. Or maybe I'll move 1 infantry into the city. Perhaps that's what I'll do, because I do believe this is somewhat of a similar situation that we saw last time. So yeah, those units will go here. And now we're going to roll for, well, let's move these ships as well. So we're going to put this, we'll put them all in port, barring this coastal sub, which will come down here. And that's essentially all we'll do. Actually, you know what? The whole fleet is going to come to this position right here. I think that would be the best course of action right now. Not that it'll do much, but you never know. It might be worthwhile doing at this stage. Okay, so let's receive our Lend-Lease from this position. I'm going to just simply duplicate 1 Republican infantry. Boom. And that takes care of nationalist Spain. So we're still a little weaker than I'd like here, but we're going to still roll for our recruitment roll. And the number we need to roll, if I remember correctly, we have 4 here, 5, 6, 7. So we should be rolling 7 or less. That's over 50% chance of being successful. Let's see how successful we can get. 7 or less, 7 or less, 7 or less, and we succeeded. So what we're going to do is we think it's worthwhile getting 2 militia for the capital city itself. Yes, I think that's what we'll do. 2 militia for the capital city. That means that we're always generally protected in that city, whatever situation comes up. All right. Now we are going to move on to Russia. So, yeah, move on to Russia. I'm going to move this back here. Russia is next. We are going to skip all our combat moves for it. Well, we have no combat to occur. Let's go on straight to non-combat. So we're going to move this infantry up here to Amur, this one from Chita to there. So I'm going to probably say from Primorsky Krai to Amur, 1 infantry. From Chita, we're moving 1 militia, 1 infantry, and a motorized. From up north in Yakutsk to Amur, 1 infantry as well. We're also moving a cavalry 2 spaces from Novosibirsk to Buryatia, and then 1 infantry. 1 infantry is going to walk that direction as well, from Novosibirsk to Angara. That's the plan there. This motorized here from central Kazakhstan is going to go 2 places to Kalmytskaya. Okay, Kalmytskaya. I'm going to do my best at pronunciations here, guys. I have a Slavic background, so I'm going to do my very best. Okay, so from central Kazakhstan to Kalmytskaya, and from northern Caucasia, we are sending in 1 infantry, and 1 cavalry is going to go down to Transcaucasia as well. Although I'm not too sure how much I'm going to push on that side of things. I'm just putting down there to kind of stack up my troops to some extent. From Stalingrad, we're going to move 2 spaces to Orel-Kursk with our motorized infantry. Infantry from western Kazakhstan is going to call to Kalmytskaya as well. We are having from Stalingrad to Kalmytskaya as well. I think that'd be the best course of action. From Saratov to Moscow, 1 infantry. From Gorky, we're going to send 1 infantry to Moscow, and 1 cavalry is going to come to Moscow as well. From northern Russia to Karelia, we're sending 1 infantry. Western Russia, we're sending a cavalry and an infantry up north. We are sending from Smolensk, we're sending whatever this one's called, a light armor up north to Karelia as well. An infantry from Smolensk is going to move north to northern Belarusia, and I think that's where he will sit for now. Let's move from eastern Ukraine. Let's move 2 spaces up to Kaluga Oblast. Kaluga Oblast. From Orel-Kursk, we're going to send 1 unit to southern Belarusia. Orel-Kursk, we're going to go to western Russia, 1 motorized infantry. And from Kiev, we're going to go to Orel-Kursk with 1 light armor. And we're going to send 1 infantry. You know what? Let's keep that guy in Kiev. Why not? I don't know if I move this guy from eastern Ukraine, but I believe not. So from an infantry from eastern Ukraine north to Orel-Kursk as well. I'm going to move some units up from Moscow to western Russia. 1 infantry there and 1 infantry to the Kaluga Oblast. So 1 infantry from Moscow to western Russia and 1 to Kaluga Oblast. That's what's going on there. And I believe that's about it. We are going to send our Air Force, all of our aircraft all across the map. So the Soviet plane is going to do its best to reach up to Leningrad. 1, 2, 3, 4, which it should do quite handily. From Donetsk, Koban, it flies up north to this location. I'm going to delete this flight stand. Oh, from Crimea, we're going to... you know what? We'll leave one guy in Crimea. I think it's worthwhile. Okay, Soviet fighter in Orel-Kursk and in Moscow. They're both going to fly up to Leningrad. So that's 2 fighters in Leningrad and a Soviet tactical bomber in Leningrad as well. Are you guys all keeping up, or am I moving too fast? I think I should still be good at this early stage. And Turkmenistan, we're going to move 1 infantry north to western Kazakhstan. Actually, you know what? We can rail him, because why not? We have 2 rail. We've got to send him all the way up to Smolensk. That would be the good idea. No, we're going to go all the way up to Karelia as well. Sure, why not? And that'll about do it. That's it for those guys. Now let's turn to ships. So from the Black Sea, we're moving our entire fleet, as much as it is. So the coastal sub is going to move just the 1 space. It can't really do too much of anything. You know what? No, I'm going to keep it here in the Black Sea. It moves too slowly to be of any use. So we have these 2 ships, the destroyer and heavy cruiser. They're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 from the Black Sea all the way to M2. All the way Black Sea to M2. And over here on the Pacific side, we're going to work our way with these subs back home. So they both move equidistant from this major port. So they should move 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3, unless I have something wrong. Actually, the torpedo boat destroyer only moves 2 spaces. So that will about do it for all of our movements and combats, such as they are. We have a small fleet here, but it's still sitting in this position. No harm, no foul. And that'll do it for us, everybody. So let's double check what we have here. We forgot to do, so we're going to collect income here. 1, 2, 3, 4 by my calculations. So we're sitting at 5 IPP. And then we have the CCP. So we need to roll for their influence roll. And they're not doing anything else. They can't move anywhere else. They're not making any attacks. So this will be effectively the last thing we do. We need a 2 or less, which we got. Look at that, guys. So just to share a stamp, because I do like to try to keep things as open and above board as possible. 1057. So 2, we managed to score. Very luckily, I grabbed this stuff. Now, it's one of those things that if you don't manage to do it, it's incredibly difficult. That's very slim chances of getting anything done. So surprise, surprise, I did manage to get Suyan, or whatever it's called. So excellent stuff on our part. That means that our income goes to 3 on the subsequent turn, which I will bump us up on the map. And I'll convert these to my unit pieces later on. Let's just simply give ourselves our income. So now we sit at 1, 2, 3, sitting at 4 IPP, which is matching what the USSR get. Isn't that something? Well, we're still dealing with the aftermath of the Great Purge, unfortunately. So we're bumping up to 3 here, and that should do it. So CCP income sits at number 3. And that will about do it for us. So thank you all for watching, and we're passing it on to the next worthy opponent, which will be in the form of the veteran. So if you guys are interested, link over to what he has to offer, and throw him a comment or feedback. And also, we welcome any criticisms or corrections. If we make mistakes, let us know. This is kind of a casual, fun game, just for the fun of it, right? So if there are mistakes, let us know. Talk to you later, and thanks all for watching. Cheers. Alright, I forgot to do one last thing, so let me quickly share a timestamp here. So it is 11 o'clock, so only 3 minutes after I shared the last video. I forgot to do a recruitment roll here for the CCP. I believe they roll a 2 or less now since they control 2 territories. Let's see if I get lucky for the second time in a row and roll a 2. I don't suspect I will. That's a 10. Missed out on that one. Alright, so that is everything then, and that tidies up our turn. Talk to y'all later. Cheers.